Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Anthony, aka Tuffy on the Tube. Something a little bit different today. Normally do kind of tactics, my own tactics, but got a message in on YouTube requesting a Olympiacos tactic. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to model it on the current manager, Jose Luis Mendilibar. Try and replicate his tactics, his style of play. Let's see how we get on. So here we are at Olympiacos. Like I said before, trying to emulate Jose Luis Mendilibar's style, his tactic, the way he sets his team up. See if we can replicate that for Football Manager. You see Mendilibar, 63 years old, Spaniard. Kind of playing career, nothing of note. I think played in the lower leagues of Spain. Kind of moved into management and retirement. I think he's managed kind of Athletic Bilbao. I think his most notable was probably Real Valladolid. If that's how you pronounce it. I think he got them promoted into the top flight from the second division. I think record number of points. From there, I think he kind of managed kind of a couple of teams here and there. Going back to Athletic Bilbao. I think that he took over kind of Eibar. I think recorded the best ever finish in the Spanish Cup, as well as the highest league kind of finish at the time. Again, I think he had a couple of other kind of clubs that didn't work out so well. I think maybe Osasuna being one of them. And I think that he found himself kind of 2023, I believe, it's Sevilla. I think they were at the time fighting relegation. I think he took over them, not only got them out of relegation, but I think they won the European Cup with them. So certainly got a bit of kind of a pedigree. Then I think he went to, obviously, Olympiacos at the beginning of this year, I think, in February maybe, January, February. At the time, Olympiacos, I think, were in a bit of turmoil. I think they've been through several kind of sporting directors or directors of football. With that came a kind of a constant change in management. I think there's something like 3 or 4 different managers in an extremely short space of time. Mendilibar joined Olympiacos and then went on to win the Europa Conference League as well. So 2-time kind of European Cup winner in successive years. So you see, interesting style. We'll kind of head over there, tactic screen, and we'll kind of show you how I've created it. I don't think it's going to be kind of 100% true to form in terms of players. You may have seen the starting lineup. I think kind of obviously we're now in kind of a new season, so a lot of may happen over the summer. This is obviously an update from the winter update as well, so maybe 1 or 2 players missing from current squad, but we'll focus on the playing style, the playing positions. I know sometimes a player kind of makes that position, if you like, rather than the position makes the player. And then it's probably is true with Olympiacos with 1 or 2. But I think overall, he sticks with the same style. So that's what we'll try and emulate. And that's what I'll try and kind of to show you in this tactic. Here we are on the tactic screen. I think it's safe to assume that Mendilibar's preferred formation is the 4-2-3-1. I'm not sure if that's pretty much what he's used throughout his career for the likes of Sevilla, Eibar before that, etc., or Real Valladolid. But I know it's certainly what he uses now at Olympiacos. Quite straightforward. On the face of it, looks quite simple, almost quite direct. But I think there's a little bit more to it than that. I don't think it's as kind of Route 1 football as it may suggest, as we kind of talk through it. So what I'll do is, like I say, it's 4-2-3-1. I've done 2 variations because his style does change from what I've seen. Like I say, I haven't seen a great deal of content on this, or literally I've just looked into this for the past week. I'm not an Olympiacos fan, obviously, by any means. I'm certainly not fully aware of Mendilibar and his overall tactical layout. So this is kind of just what I've seen from my interpretation. I may be massively right, massively wrong, or somewhere in between. You see, if you do watch this and you kind of you have an opinion, please drop a comment. Let me know what you change, what have I got right, what have I got wrong. Certainly if you're an Olympiacos fan, you may kind of know a little bit more. But we'll go through it. I'll give my kind of point of view and the reasons why I've kind of set up the tactic like this from what I've seen. Like I say, 2 little variations. One, I think, is where what Mendilibar does when I think he has the upper hand in a game, or he feels he's a stronger team anyway by default. And the other one where he's maybe a little bit cautious until maybe the game opens up in his favour, and then he kind of reverts back to the more aggressive style. So we'll start off with the mentality. I think positive. I think it is a positive style of play. Like I say, we'll discuss that a little bit further as we go along, and in terms of how they move the ball around. But in possession, I've gone for attacking with fairly wide. Again, I think there's no secret that Olympiacos use their wide players. That is their strength. I think Fortunas on the right, Podence on the left are quite easily their main outlets, the higher quality players. So without a doubt, I think it's a fairly wide formation. I think it does kind of tighten up again out of possession. The wingers come back in, put pressure on the defenders to win that ball back. We'll discuss that a little bit later. So still in possession, fairly wide formation. As soon as that ball's won, looking to the wide men. And that kind of comes in with the focus player down the left and right. Straight away, as soon as that ball's won, I think they're looking for them two players or helping the wing backs. Depending where the ball's kind of won, whether it's the two central midfielders, I think straight away, initially, it's get that to the wings, get it to Podence, get to Fortunas. Now, I favour the left-hand side. I think that's probably correct. I think pretty much every opportunity they're looking to get kind of the ball to Podence if possible. That's not to say that they don't use the right very often. I have seen balls come in from the right, from the winger, a direct winger, and obviously as much as they can from Podence, who seems to be more of like an inverted winger, inside forward style player, gets the ball, cuts in, runs at the defence, causes a bit of problems. So, but yeah, I think ultimately he is the key man. He is the kind of the main man that they want to get the ball to make things happen. So I focused things on the left. And again, it seems to me as though the left wing back is more aggressive in this kind of team, in this kind of Mendilibar's tactic. I think he seems to have a kind of lot of faith in kind of Ortega to get up that pitch, support Podence. Podence is cutting in. Ortega provides an overlap. On the right hand side, it seems a little bit more cautious, although I think with Rodinier, if that's how you pronounce his name, as the game opens up, I think initially my thoughts is he sits as more of a kind of a defensive, kind of full-back winger. But again, as the game opens up, if he kind of get the upper hand, I think he's kind of more than capable of kind of opening up and becoming kind of, a more aggressive kind of complete wing-back, if you like, maybe. I think he actually scored in the opening game of this season. So that suggests to me he's capable of getting high up the pitch, providing support maybe from the outside the box. I don't know. It's a complete wing-back maybe. And like you say, taking opportunities as well. So also I've chose for play out of defence. I don't think, from what I've seen, and certainly looking at kind of fans forums and things like that, but to get me information, that Olympiacos are a team that like a tiki-taka, play out from the back style of team. I think they're very comfortable in the press. I think if the ball comes to the defence, they don't like play around it. I think they kind of literally like to get the ball again, straight to the wings, straight to the flanks, get it up there, get it into space. Like I say, I don't think it's tiki-taka, although I will say I think there's occasions when if they're looking for that kind of space, passing into space, which I've got on there anyway, and it's not available, I think they are capable of bringing that ball back, resetting, play maybe 2 or 3 touches around the back and look for options maybe on the other wing or through the middle, and then obviously reset and re-go again. But I don't think they're a team that's known for kind of, like say, multiple passes, passing around the defence. I think they are a team that like to get 4, 5, 6 touches, get it into the wings as quick as possible in the opposition area, cause problems. Like I say, just my opinion. Yeah, that's how I've kind of seen it in the short amount of footage I've watched. Passing directness, again, I think there was a slightly more direct team, if not very direct. Like I mentioned before, don't play many passes, 3, 4, 5, and I think they like to get that ball up the pitch as quick as possible. Doesn't make them a Route 1 team. I think they're a little bit cleverer than that. Like I said before, if things aren't working out, they're quite capable of resetting, bringing it back and starting a game. So, like I said, I'm not saying they're a Route 1 team. I don't think that's ever the case. They're very clever with it. Like I say, certainly looking for Podence, Fortunas, the attacking midfield in the centre as well, all outlets. So they can play through the middle, play at the wings. Like I say, it's not just a kind of a hit and hope, but they are a team that's very comfortable also without the ball, as well as they are with it. I put work ball in the box. Like I say, I think they're a bit more methodical. They're not just like say a Route 1 hit and hope and then lash, a shot from outside from anywhere. I think they do play with a little bit of thought, a little bit of kind of tactical nous as well. And I think when you go Podence running into the box, Fortunas whipping crosses in, kind of obviously the striker, whether that's Carby or in this case maybe Navarro. I don't know if he's still here. Obviously, I've just used this as an example. Like I say, a ball get crossing the box, or run in by Podence with a kind of a clever ball through into space for the attacker to run onto. I think this was quite evident with Carby in the Conference League, Europa Cup, where I think he kind of played Aston Villa with kind of exactly what happened. He was getting balls played into him in kind of space, something he had no right to kind of get to, but he was causing Aston Villa all sorts of problems. And I think, like you say, that's where their kind of strengths lie. Tempo, I've gone for slightly higher. Like I say, I think they do operate with a kind of a fairly quick tempo, like you say, but nothing too kind of quick, fast, or nothing too slow either. Seems quite balanced to me. And that is my kind of in possession kind of analysis of it. In transition then, counter press, like I say, with the counter press, it is certainly something that I think they do. Like I say, we spoke about before, I've got two styles. One is a kind of a more deeper mid press. The other is a kind of a full-on high press with a kind of defence sat all the way back. I think it does change according to who they play, how the game's going. If they're on top, if they feel as though they're the better team, things are going their way. I think they might push that press higher, push the defence up with it, all keeping in the same balance, same range. And a game, if they're not so sure, starting a game against maybe it's a better team or who they believe to be, seem to play a mid-block again with a kind of a standard defence, maybe pushing up if they sense a little bit of weakness. So, like I say, it is flexible, it is clever. Counter, as always, I think that's how they operate. They win that ball back and then straight away they're looking to get that ball into space, get it to the wide man, get it to the kind of attack midfielder, to maybe again lay it off to either flank, create chances, score goals. Distribute quickly as well, I've gone for. Distribute to the flanks. I don't think, again, that they're a team that, like I mentioned before, they're very comfortable in the press, very comfortable without the ball. I don't think they play off from the back. They're not like a tiki-taka. So it's a case the keeper gets that ball up into the high positions. Even if the opposition gets it, I think they're very comfortable to try and then close them down, force the turnover, and then counter-attack from there. So again, that's my in transition kind of analysis. I don't think this changes much either way, whether they're between the two kind of styles I've gone for. Out of possession then. So I've gone for trigger press much more often. I think that's fairly kind of accurate. So I've also got stuck in on. Yeah, I think the idea behind this team is, like you say, they want to get that ball back quickly, close down quick, get that ball, force a turnover, and then counter straight away to the wings or to the attacker midfielder in the centre. I've also got Trap on the inside, again for that exact reason. I think the two DMs here, two defensive midfielders that kind of are tasked with literally closing the opposition down, certainly in that kind of on that mid block, close them down, get that ball back, and like you say, distribute straight away. Nothing fancy, nothing too kind of over the top. And yeah, so that's what I've gone for. Quite simple. That's how I see it. So we'll move on to the tactic side of them, go through their player roles. Sweeper keeper on support, could have been a sweeper keeper on defend, or like you say, I'm not exactly sure. I think, yeah, maybe just even a goalkeeper on defend. Very simple. I think that back line is kind of is quite simplified. He seems to be a defence first kind of coach. Again, that's not to say that kind of play boring defensive football, but I think he just likes like a solid back four. So hence I've gone for the kind of two central defenders on defend. Like I said before, nothing fancy, no ball playing defenders. I don't think that style of team, unless things have changed kind of at the start of this new season. Just fairly solid, do the job, get that ball cleared, get it out of the box, get it to the wings, push up, start implementing that press. So right back then, and kind of Rodney. Again, I've just gone in for a kind of wing back on defend. I think kind of on the left-hand side, if it's very aggressive in Ortega, could easily be a wing back on attack. I've gone for a complete wing back on support, because I think he's kind of is that kind of player. He can easily kind of get up to these wings, overlap with their Podence, or kind of off support and kind of a midfield area. So that's what I've gone for on the left-hand side, a little bit more aggressive. So it could have easily been a wing back on attack. But the right-hand side, Rodney, I think when they kind of start off in that mid-block, he may be kind of a little bit more defensive, kind of less aggressive. His right-hand side in general seems maybe less aggressive. Like I say, that's not to say it's not an outlet or an option, but that's just the way I kind of see it. Again, I don't know whether that's changed slightly, because I know Rodney has the ability to be that more aggressive and more open kind of attacking wing back. Like I say, highlighting before with his kind of scoring on the opening day of this season. So that's how I kind of see this kind of back line. Very simple, very solid. I don't know whether that's kind of down to his confidence, Mendilibar's confidence in his centre-backs maybe. I don't know if that's an issue, is that a weakness? But I just see it as a kind of a very solid base, solid foundation. Nothing to say too crazy over the top. So 2 centre-backs on defend, very little PIs, very straightforward. Same with the wing-back, just tackle harder. And even Ortega, again, just tackle harder as well. Moving up into the kind of defensive midfielders, again, I think these just kind of, I've got these down as like a deep line playmaker on defend in this slightly more defensive style of formation. And I've gone for a ball-winning midfielder on the right. I think there's kind of, as the game opens up in certain aspects, and they kind of maybe push maybe his defensive line up and the press up slightly as well. I think you sometimes maybe see like Heze or the midfielder here kind of operating a little bit higher up. Maybe like almost like a Roman playmaker if the confidence is there. Like you say, they dominate the ball. They're kind of over. Things are going well. Like you say, they've kind of maybe gone a goal up and maybe sense blood, or they feel as though they're the stronger team. They want to maybe kind of take the attack to the opposition. And I've gone for a ball winning midfield as well, because I think that is generally the case. These two guys, I think they're tasked with closing players down, getting that ball back, forcing turnovers, and then releasing that ball to the flanks, to either kind of wing backs or the kind of attack midfielder there in the centre, or straight to the wingers. So that's the idea behind that. Maybe a case we'll have these higher up. I don't know kind of obviously what you guys think. If you kind of know a bit more, would you say they operate more in the centre midfield? But for me, I think their job's simple. Win that ball back. Keep things very simple. Set the counter-attack away. And like you say, stop the opposition in this kind of middle of the park. Got them both kind of set to kind of aggressive, close down more. Isn't the ball winning midfielder by default? They'll do that anyway. And like I say, I'm pretty confident. Like I say, that's why they channel the opposition into the centre. And their job is, like I say, close them down, get that ball back, and go. So, like I say what you kind of what you think about that. There may be kind of like say options. I did think about having these as defensive midfielders, one on defend, one on support. Just to kind of highlight the fact that yes, they still close the opposition down defensively and do that job, but also maybe offer a little bit of support to kind of fullbacks, and as well as providing kind of assistance to the wingers on either side as well. But this is what I went for: deep line playmaker on defend, ball winning midfield on defend. Again, like I said before, I'm the formation. I think this may increase to maybe a little bit more for support, a little bit more confidence, a little bit more freedom, a little bit higher up the pitch. But this is kind of me starting tactic with the mid block, which I think I did mention on here, didn't I? With the mid block, Trapman on the inside with a high defensive line. And like I say, I'm not sure that's for all the defensive shape. So yeah, that's exactly what I mean when I'm talking about the defensive midfielders, the defenders themselves. Like you see, his confidence is high. Me and Steve go up a bit higher. Again, also with a kind of mid block, that can easily turn into a high press at times as well. Again, with a high defensive line, or drop back a little bit. Either way, but that's the way I see it as well. Like I say, depending on how the game's going, how it's flown. But I always think you can maybe start with like a mid block, and like I say, our defense slightly higher, ready to choke the midfield, get the ball off the opposition. But like I say, it does backfire at times. I think I have seen times when they're trying to operate this kind of press with this higher line. The opposition does get the ball, and if these kind of two defensive midfielders are too high, you see balls kind of play through. Straight away is pressure on the defence. But it seems to be a tactic that works. Like you see, European Conference League champions certainly kind of indicates that he knows what he's doing. So moving higher up the pitch then, I'll go through the centre. I've gone for, in the attacking midfielder kind of role, if you like, I've gone for an enganche here. Again, I don't think this kind of a type of player is very particularly aggressive. I don't think he moves on the pitch kind of too much in my eyes. Again, if these two guys are a double pivot, again, he's probably the third in this kind of triangle, if you like. Always there to receive the ball, either from the midfielders, from the wing backs maybe, just offering, just sitting, holding his position, being an outlet. Again, for the wingers, if there's nothing on, maybe kind of give it to kind of the enganche here, and then obviously you can maybe redistribute to the opposite wing. Again, it's acting as that like pivot, providing assistance, providing through balls, again, if it comes to him as well. Through kind of the advance forward, whether that be Navarro or Carby. Also, if crosses coming in before Tunis run the byline, he may still kind of find himself in and around the box. So you may still see kind of almost like a 4 in attack at times. And that's it. So that's how I see it. I don't think he plays like pretty much like an advanced playmaker purely because of the wide play. If we're playing through the middle, that might be a different story. But he is there as an outlet. Like you say, a really high up pivot, supporting the wingers and offering an outlet for the defensive midfielders. So moving on to the wings, I've gone for a kind of a winger for Tunis, and I think this is pretty much the reality of it. Take more risks, shoot less often, have them close down more, tackle harder. And I've got them marking a specific position, targeting the kind of the left kind of left back, if you like, left defender. When you see them kind of in action and highlights, you do see these kind of forward players putting pressure on the defence, the opposition. Certainly when they maybe playing a higher kind of press as well. But even in the mid block, they will kind of come up and still look at pressure on early doors of any defenders or attackers coming in. And then from there, if they do kind of get around that, then you obviously got your defensive midfielders backing them up. Again, closing down straight away, getting that ball back to create counter-attacks. So I've got him on a winger. Like you see, I have seen highlights where kind of Fortunas is coming down, getting crosses into the box, and I think Carby was up front at the time. Balls into the back post, like you say, and a different option, like you say, getting crosses in one side and Podence cutting in on the other. So moving on to kind of Podence himself, again, we've got him to kind of hold up the ball, shoot less often, close down more again, and again, mark specific position, as indicated, putting pressure on kind of right and left backs. With him, like I said before, inverted wing on attack, he's got the creativity, he's got the kind of skill set to pick up that ball, drive into the middle. If he runs into trouble, he's got kind of Masuris as the enganche there to maybe pass it, do it again to restart, spread it out the other side or play a through ball. He's also have like Ortega looking for the overlap. So again, very much the creative kind of force in this, and like I say, a lot does happen on this kind of left-hand side. And again, very simply, Navarro just as the advanced forward on attack. And I think that pretty much kind of sums up how I see this playing out. So like I say, to summarise, kind of I think he's kind of a mid-block style manager. Very much kind of mid-block with a kind of a high aggressive press. Ideas win that ball back, play at the wings, very much a wing play. And like you see the results. Be interesting to see what kind of I can probably keep an eye on him now this season to see, what he's like kind of probably if I can get to see a little bit more highlights, more game time. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this tactic. And what we'll do is I'll show you a few highlights from games. We'll talk about kind of how I think it fits into the style I think I've seen. But like I say, let me know if I'm close, if I kind of matched his style, if I managed to recreate it here in Football Manager. Like I say, we'll show highlights in the in some of the matches here, see if it kind of fits what we're trying to achieve. So I just want to quickly show you kind of very quickly, just kind of a few examples of kind of how the team sets up. You'll see here kind of out of possession. The team's got the ball. Straight away, you've got kind of Navarro putting pressure on. The kind of play with the ball there. See Podence as well coming across. Again, looking to put a bit of pressure on. And this is kind of how I think some of this kind of team up. Putting the pressure on, trying to force mistakes, trying to force those turnovers. And see how this kind of develops. You see the shape there. Got your kind of ball winning midfielder, Maddie here. Hezier as well, kind of a deep line playmaker. I'm a little bit further back. Obviously, Maddie's kind of looking, following that ball, putting pressure on that kind of on the player there, on Sandaris. And again, you've got kind of Fortunas blocking those kind of angles off as well, trying to kind of force errors, force his turnover. So quickly set this play out again. This instance, back to the goalkeeper. Try and play out from the back, and again keeping that press on, trying to kind of like say block those lines. But you see here as well on the back of a throw in, ball comes to kind of Roddendeer. This is kind of what I spoke about before. If there's no opening available, even in kind of real life, I think they're not scared to kind of reset, bring the ball back a little bit, sometimes a little bit deeper if needs be, reset, play across the back, and then kind of go again. So you see Hezier with the ball, loses it, comes to kind of Vezo, centre back to Hezier. You see, not scared to play back to the defender. Normally taking maybe less touches in this maybe, but comes out to Carmo. This time loses out. I was expecting him to kind of maybe pass over to the wide players again. But we'll watch this for a little bit longer. Mazuris, back to Maddie, who is our ball-winning midfielder. Expect something simple again, looking for these wings. Found Fortunas. Perfect example here, driving forward, cross into the box. And this time, dealt with and goes out kind of for a goal kick there. Or corner. So we'll follow this kind of play here. Again, they're playing off from the back, this team. This is kind of where probably what kind of Olympiacos' strengths lie. They probably enjoy teams that do this, so they can put pressure on. Again, it's all about forcing their mistakes. Doesn't always go to plan. It's a very kind of a tough, dangerous game to play. I think when you're trying to play this kind of pressing game and you're trying to, stop those kind of lines, if a team is good, really good on the ball, can play around that press, break the press, then you do find yourself in trouble pretty quickly. Certainly with the players committed, high up the pitch. And you can see if those defensive midfielders find themselves in that position, it's trouble. So Navarro has the ball. You can see even these advance forward, laying it off to Mazuris, playing that kind of a pivot role perfectly, like Enganche. So see what he does with the ball here. Again, it's a ball back into Navarro. Defence clears this time. See Ortega with the ball. We'll see the kind of position to play. Hezi is there ready for the deep line playmaker. A little bit higher up than I'd expect. We've got Podence in the middle there. Mazuris. Probably how we'd expect to say the most of goals scored. Podence, ball into the box. Turning. Looking for that pass. Kind of with his ability. And then you see a goal scored. You see straight from kick-off. You see the press. Putting pressure on. See, it doesn't always go to plan. Like you see, if you do find your defensive midfielders overcommitting, it does leave kind of gaps in the defence. And a simple ball through, you can see where the problems may come from. So we'll see here from a free kick. Win the ball back with kind of Rodney there. That kind of defensive wing-back role. Comes to Vezor. Mazuris straight away. Looking for that kind of play out of the wings to Fortunas. He's going to kind of bring that ball forward, drive forward. Again, Mazuris is there as an Enganche, offering that support. Exactly what I think he does. But please, like you say, let me know. Hezi picks up the ball, out to Podence, back into Mazuris, and another goal scored. Really interesting to know, is this how they play? If you're an Olympiacos fan, like you say, have I got somewhere near? This is the style I'd expect from Olympiacos. Have things changed since maybe Mendilibar took over? He's more aggressive now, in the press, as he kind of got rid of that mid-block. Now he knows his team a little bit better. I'm not sure. Like you say, it's just kind of short space of time, how I see things playing out. So I'm really interested to know if I'm right on the mark, I'm well wide of the mark, am I somewhere near, but you maybe change a couple of roles. Like you say, get in touch, get in the comments, let me know what you would do differently. Is this Mendilibar ball, or like you say, have I totally got it wrong? We'll see if you are interested. We'll see if you are interested. I'm quite happy to share these files if you want to know, if you want to take over the save game, kind of mess about with yourself. I've built a foundation that you may want to work on, carry the season on, see how you can kind of get on with this kind of style of play. But as I open my eyes a little bit, say it's not something I naturally do. I normally create my own tactics, so to focus on another manager, that's certainly been interesting. But that's all for me now. I'm going to leave you here. I don't want this video to run on. Please, if you like it, drop a like, subscribe if you can. Get on the comments either way if you think I've hit it on the money, if I'm well wide of the mark. I'm happy to hear everything, because it's constructive and doesn't contain any foul, aggressive language. But that's it from me now. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.